Well, we've reached the end of our course, and I just want to wrap up with a couple of closing comments here. First of all, I want to talk to you about the future of C# and the value of C#. Now, by all appearances, everything that we're seeing happening, it appears that C# is becoming, or has already become, Microsoft's flagship development environment. Now, if you're a VB.NET programmer, I don't want to offend you or make you feel like you're being abandoned. You're not. Microsoft's still supporting VBNet. They're still putting out things. But it just seems as though C# is where most of the emphasis, or the majority of the emphasis, is going. And I will tell you, if you will learn C#, this is great for your career. If you go out there and look at some of the job sites, you tend to see a lot more C# type functionality. Most C# programmers and even VB programmers that I know that made the leap and went through the learning curve to learn C# tell me the same things. You know, it really is a cleaner, cooler, less verbose program. It really is easier to read through once you get used to it and so forth. So learning this is excellent. I hope I've helped you pick up some things here. We went through Visual Studio. Gosh, there's a lot more to learn there. I would strongly encourage you to continue to chase down some of the resources on Visual Studio. The C# essentials that I went through here are a good place to start with C#. In all of these classes, it is so hard to know how far to go, how much to offer. I hope I included enough in the essentials to really get you comfortable with the language. The control structures, we went through some if and switch and while and do while and for loops. If you'll notice, we didn't do a for each because there are places where you can use for each and places where you can't. It depends on whether it's using a certain interface, and so you will see, or you did see, some examples in the course where some for eaches were there, and so I hope you noticed those and you can pick up on how to use for each. Methods and events, this is a deep subject in C#, and I gave you some starters there. Exceptions, showed you some of those. I hope those made sense. Arrays and collections, I would strongly encourage you to dig into these. Keep learning more about arrays and collections. There's an awful lot of power and speed. When you're trying to speed up an application, this has happened to me personally on a number of coding projects that I've worked on with other programmers, where we build an application and the client's like, well, it just seems a little sluggish. And so we go back and find ways to employ more and more arrays and collections, and man, the program just starts to click and hum. So anyway, watch for these things and use them whenever you can. Dates and times, I covered that. That irritates a lot of people. The formatting issues in .NET. Not really issues, but how do I format? How do I get what I want? We covered debugging. We went through the process of debugging, and again, debugging is an art. It really is, and when you watch somebody who just kind of has the debugging gene, it's amazing to watch them work. So play with that. The classes, this is one area that I really struggled with, and you know, I could have done probably another 5 or 6 hours on classes. There's just so much you can do here. We could talk about application design, object-oriented design, and so forth, but I kind of gave you just enough. But understand, this is a world that is absolutely huge. It's a whole other universe, and you really should dig into this one. Delegates, again, something else you need to dig into. And one of the things that I really liked that I did here was give you just a good basic fundamental touch on delegates. These are really tough for a lot of people without a C or a Java background to understand and grasp, and I hope I've helped you with that. So anyway, again, I can't thank you enough for purchasing the course. I hope I've helped you. I hope I've whetted your appetite, if you will, to learn more C#. But anyway, thanks for purchasing VTC products. Love to hear some feedback from you. In the About the Author video, I'll give you an email address, and I'd love to hear feedback about what you thought of the course, what else you would like to see, some other places that the course kind of headed and then stopped that you'd like us to explore, and maybe we can look at putting out some more videos to answer those needs. So anyway, thanks again. Hope it's helped.